Welcome to the another video of our course, that is discrete mathematics. And our from few videos we have studied about the concepts of counting. In our previous video we have studied about the rule of multiplication, that is fundamental principles of counting, and I have given the assignment for rule of addition. So here in this video I am going to solve the few practice problem which will help you to understand the concepts of rule of multiplication and rule of addition, and when to use rule of multiplication and when to use rule of addition. So without wasting much of time, let's start our discussion. So in practice problem number 1, consider, suppose there are 3 different flights and 2 different trains connecting 2 places. In how many ways you can reach from A to B using only flights or train? So we have 2 places A and B, and we have 3 flights that connect A or B, and we have 2 trains which also connect the place A to B. So question is, in how many way you can reach from A to B using only flights or train? We can't use both flight and train at the same time. So consider, this is our place A and this is our place B, and we have 3 flights, flights 1, flight 2 and flight 3. So these 3 flights can connect place A to B. So we have total how many choices to select the flight? So we have total 3 ways to select flight. And for same place A and B, we have how many trains connection? So we have 2 train connection. So total how many ways we can select this train? We have 2 ways. And the question is, when we select the flights, we can't select train because same person cannot travel using both train and flight at a same time. So here we can select either trains this from these flights or from these trains. So we have total how many ways to select these flights or train? So total we have, so here we have 3 choices. So here we have 2 choices. So total we have 3 plus 2, that is 5 choices. So total we have 5 choices. Why? Because we are selecting one event. If we select the one event, we can select another event, or we can select, if we select this event, we can select this event. So by the rule of sum, if we have a ways of doing some things and B way of doing another things, then we can, and we cannot do both. We cannot do both at same time. Then there are total A plus B ways of choosing one action, one of the action, sorry. So we have total 5 ways. So here we can use the addition principle because we can select this event or this event. We can't select both event at the same time. So we so in such case we need to use addition principle. So here I am going to give you another problem. So here in problem number 2, a restaurant offer 4 non-veg dishes and 3 veg dishes as starters. How many different types of starters does restaurants offer? So consider, a person can select non-veg, 4 non-veg items or 3 veg items. Consider a person cannot select both because the non-veg can only prefer to eat the non-veg item and the veg person prefer to eat only veg item. So we can't select both at the same time. So total, so here we also need to use addition principle. So the addition principle says if we are doing n ways of doing one things and m ways of doing another things, but we can't do both things at the same time. So we need to use a plus n plus m plus n ways. So total we have 7 dishes, that is 4 plus 3. So here I'm going to give you another problem. So here we need to find the numbers of 4-letter words with or without meaning. which can be formed out of letters of the word rows where the repetition is not allowed. So for example, we have a word rose. From these we are going to form these four letter words, and here is the condition where the repetition is not allowed. So for example, for this first place we can select this R or this O or this S or this E. So we have total four choices for this first letter, and here the repetition is not allowed. If we select the rows, so we can, if we select the R here, we can select only these three for second letter. So we have total how many? 1, 2 and 3 choices for these. 3 choices for these. And if we selected O here or S here or E here, so we have remained only 1 and 2 choices for these 3 letters. So we have how many choices? Only 2 choices here. And for this we have remaining only 1 choice. So total, so we have, now question is which principle we need to use here. Here we are selecting all the events, so here we need to use multiplication principle, and the total number of words that we can form using the four letter words that we can use, with that we can form using the word rows is 4 into 3 into 2, that is 4 3 ja 12, 12 2 ja 24. So total how many choices we have? 20, sorry, how many words we can form using this word rows is 24 without meaning or meaning, and the condition is repetition is not allowed. So this is how we can do our problem. So while solving the problem related to counting, we need to visualize the concept first, and then we need to decide which principle we need to use for that particular problem. So here I am going to give the same problem. Find the four letter words with or without meaning which can be formed out of the letters of the word rows where repetition is allowed. So here the repetition is allowed. So same question. So we have rows, and from these rows we are going to form four letter words and with or without meaning, and the condition is we can repeat the letters. So if we use, for this we have how many choices for this first letter? So we have four choices. So four choices. And if we use R, we can also use R here because here the repetition is allowed. If we use O here, we can also use O here. So here also how many choices we have? For this we have how many choices? Four choices because the repetition is allowed. And for here we have also how many choices? We have four choices because the repetition is allowed. And for there we have also four choices. So total number of choices is 4 into 4 into 4. So that is the total number of letters, four letter words which can be formed using rows where the repetition is allowed. So using the fundamental principles of counting and the sum rule, we can solve the small problem. But what if the problem is large? For consider, if we have n numbers of words and we have to select, we have to form r numbers of words using these letters. So this is might be very difficult to visualize like this, or we can, it is very difficult for us to solve the problem using the fundamental principles of counting or sum of rule. So to solving the large problem in our next video, we are going to introduce the formula called permutation and Also try to derive the formula using these basic principles. So this is all for today's video. See you in next. Thank you.